We all know reserve list cards can be expensive and due to never getting reprinted are always at risk of becoming even more expensive over time, but thankfully there are still some decent cards on the reserve list that won't break the bank just yet. And we're going to talk about the best of them to buy right now for you to use. Trying to keep the game affordable here and not play the stonks market. Now I hope you enjoy this video, and if you want more videos like these in the future, be sure to tap that like button down below named Steven. So cute. Before we jump into the actual list itself, I have an honorable mention I want to talk about, Wall of Kelp. This is one of the only cards in all of Magic that can make consistent wall tokens. There are not even a handful that can do it more than a small number of times, but Wall of Kelp is special. The price on this homeland wall has finally dropped back to its 2020 levels right before everyone went bananas about reserve list cards. And while the wall isn't going to get bought out and made $20 again, hopefully, right now is a great time to pick one up if you ever want to play Arcades the Strategist or just like walls. Near mint copies are less than $4. Couldn't hurt to get one just to be safe. Alright, onto the list itself, things are about to get serious. Number 10 is Firestorm from Weatherlight. Popular in commander-based discard and wheel strategies, Firestorm hit around $30 back in 2021 and has retraced enough to make it to $10 over the last 2 years. But that trend has stopped, with the price more or less evening out in the last 3 months. If you're a real the Everwise player, or maybe just want a copy in case you build something that is niche in this way, now is a good time to buy a copy of Firestorm. The line on the graph isn't going to get any flatter than this. Coming in at number 9 is Carnival of Souls. This is one of those cards that always has the potential of increased value with each set that comes out. It already combos with various altars, reassembling skeleton, and an aristocrat's trigger like Zulaport Cutthroat, or the Archlich, Heartless Summoning, and Aetherflux Reservoir. You get my point. Carnival of Souls currently sees play in the aforementioned Archlich deck, but it's also sprinkled across the commander format wherever people want to make cheeky combos happen. This black enchantment spiked around $25 2 years ago and has spent those 2 years retracing back down to something more reasonable, but now that it's hit somewhere between $8 and $9, that cheapening has slowed down a lot, which makes me think this is around where the Carnival is going to bottom out. If you're a cheeky combo player in Commander or casual games, Carnival of Souls has gotten cheap enough now that this is a good opportunity to scoop one up. Number 8 is Rainbow Veil, mainly because it's a victim of the insane buyout culture that happened in recent years. Played mainly in Zedju and Blim and Commander, the Veil is most famous for being the highest priced card in Fallen Empires, which isn't saying much, but there it is. Because of this notoriety, the card hit $20, which is just nonsense. Thankfully, calmer and more reasoned heads have prevailed and the Veil has dropped back down to a more reasonable price. The reason it's on this list is because there are those who build cubes, custom formats, and gift Commander decks that actively need Rainbow Veil but couldn't justify the price tag. You can get lightly played copies right now for only a couple dollars. Even near mint copies are down to $8 again. Price trends show that this is likely where Rainbow Veil will stay, so if you're the type of player I just mentioned, you can finally come out of hiding and get a Rainbow Veil without getting destroyed. Congratulations. Barely making the cut for this list around $10 is number 7, Opalescence. This enchantment has always been a very popular one to own and play in casual decks. It even makes appearances in commander strategies like Zur Eternal Schemer and Hannah Ship's Navigator. But a few years ago, its price ballooned to a whopping $80 each. Outrageous. Finally hitting $10 just a few months ago, Opalescence is a safe buy at this level. Copies are being moved around the $10 mark consistently enough for me to be comfortable saying it likely won't go further down than this, at least not significantly. And while you may not have a deck in mind for this card right now, Opalescence is one of those enchantments you always want a copy of just in case you do want to do some nonsense shenanigans. It's a good time to buy. Number 6 is Martinstromgal, and I may be a little biased because I've loved this card for a long time. It's like a human knight Craterhoof behemoth. It's so good. Anyway, as you can see from Martin's ability, dude's strong, can see tons of play in any go-wide strategy at all, and is criminally underutilized. But it is on the reserve list, so it had a buyout spike to over $30 a few years ago. But now things have evened out, and the red knight might actually be going back up ever so slightly. At $9 to $10 for a near mint copy, Martinstromgal makes a great addition to any creature-based ridiculousness you're doing in red. It's honestly Craterhoof Behemoth. I always explain it that way. Great time to pick it up, as I do think we're looking at the new bottom of this card right now. Numbers 5 and 4 kind of go together, Illusions of Grandeur and Donate. One of the first hilarious vintage combos, these two cards have been joined at the hip for a long time, both seeing consistent play in Zedge with the Great-Hearted, of course. Illusions is also popular in strategies like the Archimandrite and Ineaz the Gale Force, while Donate does well in John Arenicus. Of the two, Illusions is the pricier card and moves more often, but both are valuable in a variety of decks. Near mint copies of Illusions sit around $10 each at the moment, with Donate a few dollars behind at $7. And while I do believe that both of these cards warrant your attention and are worth picking up at the current price, priority should be paid to Illusions of Grandeur. Iconic Quentin Hoover artwork, cult-like fan club, of which I am a member, and steady buy and sale records. I wouldn't feel bad about getting a near mint Illusions at the moment. We're into the top 3 now. Some big deal cards are coming. Abeyance grabs the number 3 spot, or as I like to call it, Budget Ormschant. Abeyance hit its 2-year low a month ago at around $8 each and is now tickling the $10 mark, so it's a good time to talk about it. Not especially amazing in casual Commander unless you stick it on an Isochron Scepter and make someone mad. Abeyance has garnered a fair amount of attention in the competitive EDH community as a solid 1v1 disruptor. With more eyes on this blooming format and the various strategies held within, Abeyance is also getting more eyes. Sales are steady across multiple platforms, and the price does seem to be ticking up slowly. If you're into white disruption, prison type card, especially for 1v1 games, you could do much worse than Abeyance. Sitting at number 2 is Koskun Falls. The Black Ghostly Prison is well known among old school players, and when newer players hear about it, they usually want to get it. Having a prison card in black isn't all that common, and even though it isn't the cheapest card in the world mana-wise, tons of players love using it simply because of its black color identity. Very popular card. It just experienced a tiny dip to under $8 each for a few weeks, but it is solidly around $9 now and moving up quickly with copies being bought and sold every day. The main reason this card is so high on this list is because it does something in black that usually doesn't exist. It's a black pillow fort card. It's unique and obscure and recently just hit its bottom. If you're even remotely interested in a card like this, it's time to strike. At the top of this list and outselling every other card on the list by a mile is Femorif Enchantress, a value-ridden 1/2 rare from Visions. The Enchantress's power is pretty self-explanatory, able to refuel your hand on any enchantment death, not even just your own. Synergizes amazingly well with Sagas and Satsuki, the Living Lore, as well as Mazi, True Sword Paladin, or it can provide great insurance payout in any enchantment deck. Go Shintai, Sithis, Tuvasa, you name it. Femorif Enchantress is easy to include and most importantly easy to understand. It's number 1 on this list because it's definitely hit its new floor. It's an actual good card to put in popular strategies, and it's selling more aggressively than any other card on this list. If I had to pick one cheap reserve list card to buy right now, it would be Femorif Enchantress. It is so good. There are definitely more cheap reserve list cards worth buying, but these were the cards I thought warranted the most attention right now. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, please let me know what you'd like to see specifically in the future, and I'll do all the work. I'll do literally all of it. And of course, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.